Be honest with me for a second. How many times have you checked your phone today? Once, twice? Or did you already lose count after 20, maybe 50? I get it. I really do. Because not long ago, that was me. I wasn't just distracted. I was addicted. And the worst part, I didn't even realize it until everything around me started to slip. My focus, my sleep, my motivation, even my sense of self. I kept telling myself, I'm just taking a quick break, but those breaks stretched into hours. I stopped reading. I stopped reaching out to my friends. I stopped noticing sunsets. My body was present, but my mind was hijacked by a glowing screen. The worst part was the guilt, the quiet shame of knowing I was wasting time and still not being able to stop. One night, actually, it was closer to morning, I was lying in bed, lights off, face lit up by my phone. It was 2:13 a.m. I remember the exact time because I glanced at the clock between videos. I was watching back-to-back reels I wouldn't remember the next day. My eyes burned, but I kept scrolling. My alarm was set for 7 a.m., but deep down I already knew I'd hit snooze. I wasn't resting, I wasn't relaxing, I was numbing. Somewhere in the back of my mind, a small voice whispered, "This isn't okay," but I silenced it with another swipe. Another funny dog, another motivational clip, another dopamine hit, and for a moment, I felt a flicker of joy, followed by a flood of emptiness. What scared me the most wasn't just how much time I was wasting, it was how normal it had become. Everyone around me was doing it too, heads down. Scroll, tap, scroll, laugh, scroll, compare, scroll, cry, scroll, repeat. And we call this connection. Have you ever felt like your phone is using you more than you're using it? Like you're trapped inside it, watching your own life from the outside? If you're nodding your head right now, then stay with me. Because I want to show you exactly how I broke that cycle. Not with fluffy advice or digital detoxes that only last a weekend, but with real changes that actually worked. It wasn't easy. It got messy, but it was worth it. So before we dive in, if you've ever felt this way, if you've ever stared at your phone and felt powerless, hit that like button right now. Not for me, for you. So you can come back to this moment and say, this is where it started. I used to lie to myself. I'd say, it's fine. I'm just winding down while scrolling at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., even later. The room would be pitch black, the only light coming from my phone screen, which I held just inches from my face. I wasn't relaxed. I was restless. I wasn't tired. I was wired and hollow. Sleep never came easily. But the apps, they were always ready for me, always awake. Always offering something to numb whatever it was I didn't want to feel. Over time, the effects started to stack. My skin broke out from poor sleep. My back ached from slouching for hours. I couldn't sit through a full conversation without reaching for my phone. Worst of all, I stopped feeling present with people I loved. My mom would talk to me and I'd nod, along, barely hearing her. I wasn't living. I was escaping. Constantly, quietly, every chance I got, the breaking point came one afternoon. I remember it vividly. I was sitting in my kitchen, just back from a long overdue walk I didn't enjoy, because I kept checking my phone. I don't even know why I opened the Screen Time app. Maybe I was just curious. Maybe something in me already knew. But when I saw it, when that number popped up on the screen, I swear my stomach dropped. 7 hours and 32 minutes. In one day, me, someone who always said she barely uses her phone, I froze. My heart started racing. My hands got cold. I remember whispering to myself, no, this can't be right. I opened the breakdown, Instagram, 2 hours. YouTube, 90 minutes, TikTok, over an hour. Messages, Safari, random apps. I don't even remember downloading. My throat tightened. My eyes welled up. I felt sick, like I'd been sleepwalking through my own life. You could have written something. You could have called your friend back. You could have read. You could have done anything real. That was the voice in my head, and it wasn't gentle. It was furious hurt. Disappointed not just at the time I had wasted, but at how blind I'd been to what it was doing to me. I started seeing the pattern clearly. I'd feel tired or bored. I'd pick up my phone. I'd scroll for comfort. I'd feel guilty afterward. Then I'd scroll again to escape the guilt. That was the loop emotion. Trigger, response, regret, repeat. My brain was chasing relief but finding emptiness, and I was stuck in it every single day. That moment in the kitchen broke me. I sat down on the cold tile floor and cried. Not pretty tears, the kind that come with shame. I felt small, weak, like I had lost control of something so basic. My time, my attention, my mind. And what made it worse was knowing I did this to myself. No one forced me. I let it happen, little by little, tap by tap. But as I sat there, phone face down on the floor, I realized something else. If I got myself into this, I could get myself out. Not by hating myself, not by deleting every app in a fit of rage, but by waking up, by facing it, by taking one small, hard step toward freedom. If you're still watching this, pause this video right now, seriously. Go to your phone settings, check your screen time, look at it, really look. Don't scroll past it like it's nothing, I dare you. And if that number surprises you, welcome, you're not alone. Once I faced the truth about how much time I was losing, I started asking a deeper question. Why was I so hooked? Why did I keep picking it up when I knew it made me feel worse? Why did the thought of deleting certain apps give me actual anxiety? The answer wasn't just laziness. It was deeper. It was chemical, psychological. Every time you open your phone, your brain is chasing one thing, dopamine. That's the neurotransmitter that tells your brain, this feels good, let's do it again. But here's the twist. Dopamine doesn't actually make you feel happy, it makes you want more. It's the wanting chemical, not the satisfaction chemical. That's why one funny reel turns into 20. That's why just 5 minutes becomes 2 hours in tech companies. They know this. They build apps like digital slot machines, the colors, the notifications, the swipe down to refresh. That's not random. It's psychological design. They use variable rewards, meaning you never know what you'll get when you check. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's exciting. That unpredictability. It's addictive, just like gambling, just like pulling a lever in Vegas. I remember watching a video about how lab rats will press a lever over and over again for a random food pellet. I paused the video and just stared at my phone. Oh my God, I'm the rat. I had become the experiment. And the craziest part, I had volunteered for it every day. Every scroll, we think we're in control. We think we choose when to check our phones. But how many times have you opened an app without even thinking? Just muscle memory. Your finger knows where to go even when your brain isn't really present. It's not your fault, your brain has been trained. And then there's the social pressure, the fear of missing out. FOMO is real. You scroll because you don't want to be left out, because everyone else is posting, because you want to stay in the loop. But here's the truth. Most of the loop is noise. It's highlight reels, not real life. And the more you watch other people's lives, the more disconnected you feel from your own. I didn't realize how much this constant exposure was affecting my mental health. Every scroll chipped away at my self-worth. I'd compare my behind the scenes to someone else's perfect moment. I'd feel inadequate behind unaccomplished. And then I'd scroll more, hoping to distract myself from the very feelings the app had just created. It was a trap. I remember talking to a friend about this, and she said, sometimes I scroll because I don't want to sit with my own thoughts. That hit me hard because that's what I was doing too. I was avoiding myself. We live in a world that says being online is essential. If you're not online, you don't exist. But what if that's the lie? What if being constantly connected is what's disconnecting us from ourselves, our peace, our purpose? What if the noise is drowning out the one voice that matters? Our own technology isn't evil. It's just too powerful for our biology. Our minds weren't built for this level of stimulation, this constant reward system. We evolved to chase real rewards. Connection, meaning movement, not flashing icons and likes. So it's not just about willpower. It's about understanding the system you're caught in the moment. I realized all this wasn't by accident when I understood that my distraction was engineered. I stopped blaming myself and started reclaiming control, not by deleting everything overnight, but by learning how to play a different game, one where I made the rules. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below. What's the one app you wish you could delete but can't? Be honest. There's no shame here, only awareness. And awareness is where change begins. Knowing how these apps were controlling my mind wasn't enough. Awareness is powerful, but I needed change, real change. And for that, I had to get uncomfortable. I had to interrupt the loop. I couldn't just hope for the urge to go away. I had to break the pattern and make it harder for my brain to seek that instant fix. Step 1, I made my phone ugly. The first thing I did, I made my phone ugly. Literally, I switched everything to black and white mode. The colors, those dopamine triggers were gone. Instagram, YouTube, thumbnails, even the emojis, all dull, lifeless gray. I didn't expect it to matter much, but it did. Without that rainbow of colors, my phone suddenly felt boring. Empty, it stopped calling to me every 2 minutes. That visual reward was gone. My phone turned into just a tool, not a toy. Step 2, remove app shortcuts. Then I removed every social media app from my home screen. No more tap and go. I tucked them away deep in folders where I had to search by name to find them. That extra friction, that second of hesitation, it was a game changer. When I had to stop and type TikTok, I had a moment to ask myself, do you really need to go in there, or are you just running? Half the time I didn't go through with it. That moment saved me from hours of mindless scrolling. Step 3, disable notifications. Next, I went into my settings and turned off every single non-essential notification. No badges, no sounds, no vibrations. Only direct calls and messages from close family could get through. Everything else, news alerts, app updates, social media likes, gone. I was tired of my nervous system jumping every time my phone lit up. It felt like someone was tapping me on the shoulder every 10 minutes. After I silenced those taps, my mind felt quieter, calmer, for the first time in a long time. Step 4, do not disturb, plus app limits. I started using do not disturb mode all the time during work meals, walks. I even used it when I was with people I loved. Being fully present became a boundary. I protected. I also set daily time limits for every social app, 20 minutes, not to punish myself, but to measure reality. And it was jarring to see how quickly those 20 minutes vanished. It made me think twice. It made me realize how little joy I actually got from the hours I was wasting. But let me be brutally honest, it wasn't smooth. I felt restless, anxious. I kept reaching for my phone like some invisible hand was pulling me. I tapped the screen, expecting something to be there, and nothing was. No dopamine rush, no distraction waiting. I even felt phantom vibrations. I'd swear my phone buzzed, only to check and see nothing had happened. That was the scariest part, how deeply wired it had become in my nervous system. Every time I reached for my phone, I started catching myself. I'd pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? And more often than not, it was something I didn't want to deal with: boredom, loneliness, stress, discomfort. Instead of checking Instagram, I started checking in with myself. Sometimes I'd journal. Sometimes I'd just sit there and let myself feel it. It wasn't pretty, but it was honest. And honesty is what healing begins with. I slipped up plenty of times. But instead of spiraling into shame, I treated every slip as information, every win as progress. I celebrated the small victories, the moments I left my phone in another room, the days I walked outside without it, the nights I went to bed without scrolling. Those things might sound small, but for me, they were everything. The biggest shift wasn't in my screen time stats. It was in how I felt. I no longer needed to fill every silence with content. I started making space to think. to breathe, to notice. And from that space, something powerful began to grow: self-trust. That's what screen addiction steals from us, our ability to trust our own minds to sit with stillness, and this was how I started taking it back. So here's my challenge to you. Try just one of these steps today. Turn on grayscale. Move an app, silence your notifications. Even if it's for 1 hour, then come back and tell me in the comments, how did it feel? Weird? Freeing, frustrating, be real. Your story matters, and you never know who it might help. Here's the truth. I wish I had understood earlier. You can't just delete your way out of an addiction. Taking the apps off your phone doesn't automatically fill the space they left behind. Your brain's been trained to expect constant stimulation. When that disappears, it panics, it craves, it searches. If you don't give it something meaningful to hold on to, it'll go right back to what's easy. The first few days after breaking the loop, I felt hollow. Not peaceful, not proud, just bored. Restless, lonely. Honestly, I didn't have those quick dopamine hits to lift my mood anymore, and I hadn't yet replaced them with anything real. The silence was deafening. I'd sit on my couch and just stare. No scrolling, no music, just me. And at first it felt like withdrawal, like something was missing because something was the constant drip of false reward. So I started replacing, not just removing. I asked myself, what did I used to love doing before everything became a scroll? That one question led me back to myself, slowly, awkwardly, but powerfully. One of the first things I did. I cooked a real meal, no phone in the kitchen, no videos playing in the background, just me chopping vegetables, hearing the sizzle, smelling the garlic. For the first time in forever, I felt present in my own body. It wasn't about the food. It was about paying attention. That felt like a small miracle. I picked up my old journal. At first, the pages stayed blank. I didn't know what to write, but after a few minutes, the words started to come. And when they did, they weren't filtered or performative or edited for likes. They were raw, messy, true. I wrote about how angry I was at myself, how ashamed, how tired I felt, but also how hopeful that journal became my quiet space, a place where I could be real without noise. Then I started calling people instead of texting. I called my mom. I asked how her day was. We talked for 20 minutes about nothing and everything I hadn't done that in months. Not because I didn't love her, but because I had trained myself to communicate in tiny fragments, emoji reactions, 5-word texts, double taps. That call grounded me in something real, in someone real. I also moved more. I took walks without headphones. I let myself listen to birds, to cars, to my breath. I stretched in my living room. I danced to silence. It wasn't always graceful, but it was honest. My body had missed me, and I was finally showing up for it. None of this felt amazing right away. I'm not going to pretend it did. It felt boring. Slow, unnatural. For someone used to the pace of TikTok, even reading a full paragraph was hard at first, but over time something shifted. The noise inside me quieted. My thoughts stopped racing. I wasn't chasing something anymore. I was inhabiting something, my own life. My brain, in a way, began to heal. I could focus for longer. I slept deeper. I remembered my dreams again. I laughed more. Really laughed, not because of a meme, but because I was connected to real joy. And the more I invested in the real world, the less power my phone had over me. It started to fade into the background where it belonged. This wasn't about becoming anti-tech. It was about remembering I had a life outside of a screen, a life worth noticing. A life that didn't need to be shared, filtered, or posted to matter. I started choosing presence over performance, and that changed everything. So now it's your turn. What's something small but beautiful you did today without your phone? Maybe you took a walk, maybe you made tea, maybe you hugged someone a little longer. Share it in the comments. Your wins, big or small, might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. You've probably heard it takes 21 days to break a habit, but for me it took 30. And not just to break the habit, but to break the emotional grip that my phone had on me. Let me walk you through what those 30 days actually looked like. Week 1, the crash. Week 1 was hell. Let's just be honest. I felt anxious, fidgety, and more alone than I had in months. Every 5 minutes, I'd instinctively reach for my phone, then remember I had blocked access. I'd stare at it, waiting for something. Anything to give me permission to scroll. I even caught myself opening the App Store, hovering over TikTok with my thumb shaking. I didn't download it, but I hovered. I craved that escape, that noise, that rush. I was uncomfortable in my own skin. Social media had been my default companion. Without it, I felt disconnected, not just from the world, but from my own identity. Who was I without constant stimulation? What was I supposed to do in the quiet? I didn't know yet, and that scared me. I had to sit in that discomfort longer than I wanted. I had to feel it, not run from it. Week 2, a crack of light. Week 2 was different. Something shifted. I noticed. My thoughts slowing down. I could hold a full idea in my head without forgetting it mid-sentence. I could read an article all the way through. I stopped checking my phone during conversations. I was sleeping better, dreaming again. The fog started to lift. My mind felt like mine again. Week 3, internal space. By week 3, I wasn't just surviving, I was adjusting. I had actual time. Again, I started planning my days. I felt creative. I wrote. I journaled. I finally picked up that personal project I'd been putting off for over a year. It felt like something inside me had been trapped underwater, and it was finally coming up for air. Week 4, transformation. Week 4 was when I realized I wasn't missing out. I was waking up. I had more clarity, more energy. I felt proud of how I was spending my time. I wasn't constantly comparing myself to strangers online. I felt enough. Not perfect. Not wildly productive. Just enough. For the first time in a long time. The 30-day challenge didn't make me superhuman. It made me human again, and that was more than enough. So now it's your turn. I challenge you 30 days, no doom scrolling. 30. No mindless checking. No disappearing into your screen. Just try. Try to come back to your life. Comment below, I'm in, if you're ready to take that step. I'll be right here cheering you on, and so will everyone else reading this. After 30 days, I didn't swear off technology. I didn't throw my phone into a lake or vow to live in a cabin off the grid. I still use my phone. I still check social media. I still send memes to my best friend. But something fundamental has changed, and it's this. I use my phone. It doesn't use me. Technology isn't evil. It's brilliant. It connects us, teaches us, empowers us. But we were never taught how to have a healthy relationship with it. No one warned us how easily it could take over our lives, how it would sneak in, one ping at a time, until it became the thing we reached for more than anything else. More than books, more than people, more than ourselves, the golden rule. I live by now is simple. Use it, don't be used by it. I ask myself, why am I picking up my phone right now? If I don't have a clear answer, I put it down, I protect my peace, I guard my attention, because I know now it's the most valuable thing I have. My days are quieter, but they feel fuller. I laugh more, I sleep better. I'm not constantly measuring my worth in likes or views. I have deeper conversations. I remember what I read, I finish books, I look people in the eyes again. I've come back to myself, and that's a kind of success. I never knew how much I needed. Moving forward, I don't want to live on autopilot anymore. I want to live intentionally, and I want that for you, too. I want you to wake up every day and feel like your time is yours, like your life belongs to you again. So if this spoke to you, subscribe. Not just because I said something that resonated, but because you're serious about reclaiming your mental health, about taking your power back. This isn't the end, it's the beginning, and I'll be right here, walking it with you. Before you click away, I want you to take one deep breath in and out. Now ask yourself how much of your life is passing by while your eyes are glued to a screen. How many real moments have you missed? Moments that could have been memories because your mind was somewhere else scrolling. This isn't just about breaking a phone habit. It's about coming home to yourself. It's about remembering that you are not a machine. You are not meant to be on all the time. You don't have to fill every quiet second. You are allowed to be still. You are allowed to be here. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just distracted, and you can heal from that. You can reclaim your time, your peace, your focus, and your joy. I promise you, it's still there, underneath the noise, waiting for you to come back. If you've made it this far, that tells me something. You're ready to change, ready to reconnect. So take this as your sign. Start today. Start small. Start real and be patient with yourself. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. If this meant something to you like this video, share it with someone you care about and tell me in the comments, what's one thing you're going to do differently starting today? And if you haven't yet subscribed, let's do this together. Let's take our lives back.